Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're talking about the best-selling cards under $5 or less. This is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Penny Stock Market Watch. Let's just jump right into it. We see Sign It Mining has made another just insane resurgence. I do want to say this. I am currently watching Nationals. I don't know when you're seeing this video, but I am currently watching Nationals right now. Marinus just got top four, and top eight is finishing now. So Marinus could actually end up winning the entire duel, or winning the entire nationals, excuse me, which is insane. Um, so that's why, though, too, we're seeing Marinus Springo, Marinus Blue Slug, uh, and the Sign It Mining, because the Sign It Mining does search for all of those. Like, Sign It Mining just went from, if Marinus is actually, especially if Marinus is actually able to win nationals, like I said at the time of recording this, I'm currently watching it, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know who ended up winning. But even at top four, now we see decks like Adagnister, Salomon Gray, Code Talker isn't actually that bad. Um, those three decks can run Sign It Mining, but now we're seeing Marinus, which I think is maybe a tier above some of those decks. Also being able to run Sign It Mining. So we look at it across the board. Sign It Minings are disappearing. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. If by the time you guys check this, it's just getting higher. I would be very cautious about FOMO though. But I will say this. I don't think this card's good enough to get hit on the ban list. Right? And Cybers is proving to be a very popular type. And Sign It Mining is proving to be a very powerful staple. As we look at the Dual Overload version, it's actually about to be no longer a penny stock. And then we look at this car, or this version, the Tin in 2020 version, also are almost already about to be $5. I wouldn't spend any more than $5 on this version of Sign It Mining. Certainly not this version of Sign It Mining that got us there. Actually, randomly took a weird dip. So if you're able to buy it maybe right now, do I think that all versions of Sign It Mining will hit $5? Like I said, it is a really powerful card. There's a reason why it's the number 3 best-selling card right now, under $5 in Yu-Gi-Oh! But it does get hit really hard to Ash. It is a really easy Joel and Lockbird target. But just because a lot of Cyber's decks interact with the graveyard, so in a lot of cases, it ends up being, because it's technically a neg 1, right? Because you activate Sign It Mining, you're discarding a card just to get to one specific card. However, in a lot of cases, you're able to send something relevant to the graveyard off of Sign It Mining, and you can start to do some really powerful things with that. So I would be on the lookout at this version, El Dorado. I think that's a big reason why this version's on, the version that's at the top 3. But I don't think it's gonna hit $5. Like I said, I just give my advice. I think that this card's really popular right now because we've seen Marinessa have a resurgence. Salamagreat kind of does have a random resurgence here or there. I haven't really seen it anywhere around Nationals. In fact, the only I've seen Adagnister actually also in a feature match. So it is, Sign It Mining is the kind of the heartbeat of those archetypes, right? But a lot of those archetypes also have archetype specific searchers, right? So Sign It Mining's, I don't see a situation where all 5 versions of Sign It Mining, or all 4 versions of Sign It Minings, are over $5. However, I could see, I wouldn't say that's the worst investment ever. If someone was like, "Hey, I bought 10 of copies," because we see a lot of one-ups right here. This is what I'm talking about. Right here, free shipping over $5. So if you bought 10, drop $40. These are $3.99. So $4. We're just banking that it'll get to $5. I don't know. But like I said, you spend your money how you feel. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But we're seeing the usual suspects: Nibble, Anger, Raigeki, Cypher, Gear Gamma, Toon Chaos version. Anti-Spell Fragrance, Dark Ruler No More. Um, if you have been, and make sure you guys, subscribe and follow along, because we've been right alongside this whole, that I don't really like that map as much as this whole thing when it was, nearing the $4 mark, and it took this huge dip, and it came back up, and it took another huge dip, and now it's going back up again. So you got to wonder, like, is this type of thing on the horizon? Is a dip on the horizon? I genuinely don't think it is. We've talked about this card a lot. That is the Spirit Charmers version. Let's look at the Outback Strike version. And the reason why we've talked about this card so much, let me just look at this. This is crazy. It's just such an insanely powerful going second card. So 134 copies at 275, 85 copies at 279. I mean, there's a lot of copies on the market, but I could very easily see this card hitting those higher marks. Now, even if we just look at a card, we just look at like Sign of Mining, the biggest difference, two big differences, right? And you want to pay attention to this type of stuff when you're investing in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Penny stock or just any Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. Where are the versions coming from? So we have the Dark Neostorm version, that's the original, right? But that was in a major set, right? 2020 tins, any tins really, are a major set. Obviously, the further and further we get from the tins, like if you look at some of the 2016 tins, there's some really expensive cards there. Dual Overload was also somewhat of a major set. El Dorado was obviously a side set. I think Dual Overload was as well. But if we look at Dark Ruler No More, you have the 2019 tins, right? So now we're even further back, and it was a Prismatic Secret Rare, and the other two copies are from structure decks. And the thing about structure decks, there are so many cards. Like if you just look at a lot of the structure decks that have ever been printed in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a lot of 10, 15, $20 cards in the structure decks. Like Ash Blossom and Joy of Springs is always the best example, because I think it is one of the more expensive cards that is in a structure deck. It's actually set to be in another structure deck, which is just absolutely hilarious. Um, so I could very easily see Dark Ruin No More, and I've said this before, being a $5-10 card in like a year or so. If you still see Albest, if you haven't picked up Albest Strike, like, because the Spirit Charmers, not a very good deck. The Albest Strike structure deck does give you a lot. It gives you some interesting things that you can do with dragons, but obviously a lot of the branded fusion cards are in there. There's actually a lot in the Albest Strike structure deck. I do think, like, if these two are both on the shelf and you only have enough money for a play set of one of them, or even just one box, I would definitely go with the Albest Strike structure deck, especially considering the best chase card from the Spirit Charmer structure deck is in the Albest Strike structure deck, which is Dark Ruler No More. But like I said, it's an insanely powerful going second card. And when we see a card like Forbidden Droplets, which I'll be, I mean, maybe one day Forbidden Droplet will earn its way down to the penny stock market. But look at this, like $60, right? I mean, this is how I think, at least. How many copies of this card can you get? Like, I understand, like, they do different things, because it's a quick play, because Dark Ruler No More can't stop Scythe, right? But Forbidden Droplet can. Dark Ruler No More can't be activated during your opponent's turn. Forbidden Droplet can, but like I said, we could almost buy this person out for $100, right? Or buy 1.5 copies of Forbidden Droplet. Right. So that's just that. I mean, that's why we talk about these cards though on the penny stock market watch. We do see No Punk, Ogre Dance, Adventure Punk is probably the best deck in the room. I think I just saw it win in top 16. Marinette was not facing that though, so it's gonna be interesting to see what the top 4 looks like. But this is probably the best deck: is Adventurer, Punk, Cybers, Eldritch, just 60 card pile of crap. No, it's easy to use the Adventurer, Punk, and the Theorons, right? Dinomorphia, still doing its thing. Deck doesn't have to be good, by the way, for it to be relatively expensive. Um, I definitely think this is one of the not really worth its price type of decks. I've asked on multiple market watches what in the world is making these cards so, because this is best selling, right? So we look at 3, 6, 9, 11 cards. Oh, there's only 11 cards under $5 that have sold more than Dynamorphia Frenzy, and there's only 14 cards that have sold more than Rexter. And the deck can't win in time because it can't do anything. And the deck doesn't do a lot. Like, it is pretty decent, but it's a solid rogue strategy at best. I don't know. Because a lot of these cards are fairly meta relevant. We see a lot of Marinessa's cards. Nibelunger's a good level 2 monster. Branded Red. Gamma, Raigeki, Anti-Spell, Dark Ruler. Anti-Spell's been seen everywhere. 151 is really cheap. Heavily played. That makes sense. I was like, why is it 151? I don't know. We continue forward. The Dinomorphia. Well, thank you for coming to my TED talk about Dinomorphia again. Maybe if I played the deck, I'd actually really like it. Just from what I've seen, it looks horrible. But, well, not horrible, but not good, right? Just take a look at the Nadir Servants. These, this card used to be $7, $8 card. Could it go back up there? Probably not. But it does do that. It does search Fallen of Albas, and it's just gonna be interesting to see because branded Despia might not get hit because it was a very powerful deck at first, but it's kind of like taking a step back. Whereas we've seen Sword Soul still is a pretty solid archetype. I think Adventurer will hopefully get hit on the next ban list, probably around after Nats. That's usually when the next ban list comes. This is like Nationals happens, especially since there's no Worlds. Like Nationals happens, and then the ban list happens. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a ban list coming out soon. We'll probably do another ban list video. So that's another reason to subscribe. But the reason we're talking about the ban list now is because Nadir Servant could end up being really good because it's not going to get hit on the ban list. I think it already is on the ban list, row, right? Is it? I don't remember. Is it at 2? Or is that at 2 in Master Duel? I don't remember. But either way, I think that this card is safe. It's not going to get like banned or anything like that. And so this could be an interesting time. I mean, look at this. We're nearing the lowest it's been. I mean, obviously July 12th it was 359. Now it's about 387. $4, right? But the reason why this card, I mean, this is 325 right here. The reason why this card has randomly been getting bought recently isn't because it's a really good card, but it's because it was top 5. It was like $5, excuse me, and now it's slipping underneath that. Like it's been consistently, maybe not the past month. It's been battling a little bit. 450, $4, but even then, now it dipped under 4. So this could be a very solid investment. I would wait and see because keep in mind, like with a card like this, it's like Ghost Reaper, right? Nadir Servant is solid, but you do need, if you're gonna run it, you need the targets from the extra deck. You do need the Dogmatica cards. You do need the Fallen of Albas cards. You do need stuff like that, unfortunately, to make this card really good. But if you're just trying to flip it and say, hey, I can get a few copies for $4, and I think it's going to be $5 soon, then that could be something of use. That could not be too bad. We see another, this side frame Gear Gamma has just always have been there. Allure of Darkness, this is kind of low. 98 cents is kind of low. Yeah. Okay. Right, it's $1. Okay, so it's still $2. Yeah. Strike what I said. Swap Frog. Another version of Swap Frog. No. Okay, I thought there was 2 Swap. I'm sorry. I saw something that threw me off. We'll talk about it in a second. Actually, we can just talk about it right now because Swap Frog, we've seen that because of the level 2s. Edge of Chain, Flow Andoris. It's kind of a little bit more popular because Master Duel has brought people back to it, but it is a really solid rogue deck. And I think that that's something of interest. What in the world are you doing here? This is the card that threw me off, by the way. So I don't know. I guess I don't pay enough attention. Okay. I don't watch like crazy combo type videos because it's really easy to do a crazy combo type video. When you do like 10 duels and your opponent misplays and is playing a bad deck, like I'm sure like Treasure Panda Exodia FTK works really well against a bad Cloudian deck that's the person's AFK and doesn't have any hand traps. Um, the reason I'm saying that isn't to bash Cloudians or Treasure Panda Exodia FTK, but it's just to say if there is a combo with King of the Swamp that I'm not aware of, I apologize. But why in the world? There are no versions of this card. What happened? Was it Nationals? Did I miss something? What? This got bought out. What happened? I'm gonna have to look this up because this is gonna actually bother me. Don't buy King of the Swamp. Unless the combo is just like so absolutely insane. We'll stay here for a second to see how close this is to a buyout. Um, could this be the next target? Let's see what the last page looks like. So got a 14, $8. $8 is the next one. It's a light plate. Um, I don't know. There's really not a lot on the first page, except for this one. This is what you're gonna see. I can give. I'm pretty confident. Okay, I'm pretty confident. That's what free shipping means. I'm orders of $5 more. I'm pretty confident that over the next few days, depending on when you're seeing this, or even right now already, depending on, like I said, depending on if you've seen this like 3 days after I posted it, odds are you're gonna see a whole bunch of these. Like, there's no reason at all King of the Swamp should be a $10 card. What in the world happened? It could be John or MCole40 said something. Like, okay, I know it adds poly. I know it's got this substitute thing. I know it can be sent. You can banish it. Like, I know King of the Swamp has a lot of different things that makes it a decent card. And we take a look at, let's see if I can find the card I'm thinking about. We take a look at a card like this, right? Like, this is the market value I would anticipate these type of cards to have. Like, if we go to just near mints, they're about $1.20, $1.70, $2, $3 because they have seen play. Like, these cards have been used to be able to get out like Dragoon randomly, right? And that can be very good. And King of the Swamp is similar, but that doesn't make it a $5 card. So someone's got to let me know what's going on with King of the Swamp. I'm super confused there. Yeah, Fusion Destiny is a card we've seen here a lot. I'd pick up your playset now. I could see this card definitely gaining resurgence and popularity because people are still running this card. I mean, it's not great, but people are still running this card because you can still just drop the Fusion Destiny, right, and just go from that spot. Even though it's at 2, unfortunately. But if this card goes to 3, could be interesting. But man, I am just really thrown off. But you know, in retrospect, I need to give some respect because it is the King of the Swamp, right? Like that's what I get. That's the King of the Swamp. Tell me what you guys think in those comments down below with the best selling cards under $5. It might not be under $5 by the time you see this video. I could be dead wrong, and all versions could be $300 or something like that. I don't think so, but it is the King of the Swamp, like I said. Anyway, let me know in those comments down below. Make sure you guys click that like button to show your support for the channel. Make sure you subscribe for more content. Most importantly of all, have a good day.